Hello and welcome to this exclusive YouTube video with Hull Kingston Rovers Heritage Trust member, former player and current author Keith Pollard. How are you doing, Keith?
All right, mate. How are you? Thanks for
Yeah, great, thanks. So, what have you been up to since we last spoke to you on the when we did the Heritage Cast with you?
Well, I've got a new book out, which I'm pleased you've invited me on. And not a lot with the season finishing, and it's getting a bit boring, really. But it's going to be. I've got my books delivered yesterday, so I've been out delivering them and collecting money. It's all going to All for Heroes. The proceeds from this one.
Well, I'll tell you what, Keith. We'll talk about your book in it shortly. But how impressed have you been with Rovers this season?
Well, very well. I mean, let's be honest, everybody. All the doubters thought they'd be getting relegated again, and one thing and another, and they've come good. I think if we'd have played a lot more matches, I think we'd have finished up higher in the league, to be honest. But some of the players, how they've come to the front, like Mikey Lewis and blokes like this, I'm pleased to see us stand another 4 years anyway. I think. I'm really impressed. They're playing some good, attractive rugby the way it's supposed to be played, not this Aussie style, stick it up your jumper rugby league, throwing the ball about. I think some of the Kenny Dowell and blokes like this, he's been outstanding from the doubters he had last year. I think if Vetty had come a bit more fitter, I'm amazed he was as big as he was when he arrived, but I think a good pre-season and he'll really hit the straps. The crowd have taken him to heart, haven't they? He's a bit of a crowd pleaser. Close to the line, he's unstoppable. And that's what we need. I think. No, I'm really impressed with him. And what more can you ask? One game away from the grand final. So.
Yeah. I think that's it, Keith, with a good pre-season belt under players such as Albert Vete, Corbin Sims, Takarangi, on top of the signings that they've made and the players we've kept as well, the ones we got to tie down contracts. Yeah. It's certainly going to be, it's building up for an exciting season. Do you think we'll be able to replicate our success this season?
Yeah, I think with what the players have bought, they're looking good. I think it's one or two. All right, we've lost Lola, but I think it was a good workhorse. You know what I mean? It was a good clubman. There's no doubt about it. And all right, he's gone to the grass is always greener at the other side. But I think he might have had second doubts in his mind. But the players that are coming in, what I think I've heard about one or two of them. We've been on the looking back programs that I do on a Friday. There's one or two people from Huddersfield and Dewsbury and places like that. They're gutted that they've lost them players. Like can't think of the names.
Tom Garrett.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to a girl who does this looking back from Dewsbury, and she was distraught the fact that he's left. He was winning man of the match every week, playing 80 minutes every week. I think he got player of the year, clubman of the year. He's a big kid. He's got everything going for him. Could be another St Helens kid, couldn't he? And come from the lower grades.
Yeah.
And then this one Wood we got from Huddersfield. Some of the supporters have been crying out for a big centre, a big bustling centre, and that's where Tony Smith asked him to play. Apparently, they stopped playing him, didn't they, at the end of the year because they heard he was leaving. Yeah, that's childish, isn't it? Yeah, shows you what some blokes' minds work. And the others, I mean, the kid from Featherstone, he looks like another Lola, another good defensive forward, not that big, but. The other kid from St Helens as well, the prop who played in the grand final, who had a couple of years out of the game, and he's come back. He looks an handy lad. I mean, I'm trying to think of the ones we've bought now, the newcomers. But no, it's looking good. I think it's looking very good.
Yeah, and obviously we've got the return of the reserve grade rugby, and we'll see more academy fixtures, and we've had some. There's been some real positive news, hasn't there, about some of the kids we've been signing from the local area. So everything seems to be going in the right direction on the pitch.
I was doing a tour. I was taking on an heritage tour, and I was still outside the ground waiting for some people to come. And the under-19s, or the academy, whatever they call themselves nowadays, came out, and I was amazed at the size of some of them. Because we aren't big people, you know, are we? We don't. We the odd tall big player comes through now and again, like Lowy and blokes like that. But we don't seem to breed big people here. And some of them, size of some of them kids that I saw there, I was very impressed. And as you say, reserve team football coming back. I've pleaded for that for years and years, because kids they don't serve their apprenticeship now. You know, you've got to learn off players alongside you, blokes that have played the game. You know, I was lucky. I played reserve team football 16, 17. I played first team football when I was 18. But I was learning off players alongside me that had been there and bought the t-shirt. Bob blokes you'll never heard of, or maybe you're heard of, but Bob Coverdale, who played in the 1954 World Cup final. Jim Drake, who was a stalwart for Hull FC for years. And blokes like that, Harry Poole, when I got in the first team, Foster, Bill Holiday. You was learning your trade all the time. Well, kids nowadays, because there's no 18 football, they don't learn off anybody. They're only playing alongside kids of the same age and against kids of the same age. It's a different story when you're playing against old pros and old lads that you play, you know, that have been there, as I say, bought the t-shirt. Blokes that are trying to take your head off in every tackle. You know, well, they can't do that nowadays anyway. But no, you've got to serve your apprenticeship in any job. In any job, you've got to serve in your apprenticeship. And this, to me, is a blessing that they brought reserve team football back. It's, I don't know, it's something I've wanted for years and years and years. So since they stopped it, I think it was a disgrace. And it was only money at the end of the day. You know, it was, oh, well, we can't pay all these blokes all this money and have 18 football. Well, take a few. I said this at one meeting they had. Take a few quid off the blokes like Campese and the other blokes. Don't give them 150,000 a year, and take some money off them and start your 18. Because without it, you've no chance.
Yeah. And what about the Heritage Trust, Keith? What have you been up to with them?
Well, we've been doing a Zoom meeting, which we've still been doing once every couple of weeks. We have we've got back now because of COVID's not gone, but it's died. You know, it tampered a bit. We've been having the monthly meeting last Wednesday of every month. Well, at the last one this year will be in November. There won't be one in December because of Christmas and what have you. But we want more people to come. I won't say great night. It is a great night. Yeah, we all get together and talk about old times. Obviously, Rovers heritage. We have we pick a subject for every month, and next month or this month, shall I say, it's a quiz. Everybody and you can win prizes and all that sort of stuff. It's just a jolly. But then during the year, we'll pick a subject. We'll get guests on. As I say, different subjects. Last year we had Tony Smith on for our first meeting, and then I don't know. We've got. I can't think who the was at the last committee meeting. I'm on the committee, and I can't remember, to be honest. But we'll pick a subject, and one of us will give a talk, because I lived in Aussie for 6 years. I tend to talk about ex-players that have been imports, like Dory and Bowstead and blokes like this. But every month is a different subject, and it's a good night. You know, it lasts 7 till 9. You don't get bored. If you want to nod off, you can do. But it's generally a good night. But we just want more people to come.
And how would people get involved, Keith, if they did want to turn up to one of the heritage nights?
Just turn up. It's 7 o'clock, 7 till 9, last Wednesday of every month in the Legends Lounge. Just turn up. There's no entry. Don't charge you. You get a cup of tea. They might charge you for that, but you can put a donation in if you want one. And we sometimes have a film. We'll show our videos, our games. It just depends what the subject is. We have Brian Leeson, who was on the committee. He was been a Rovers supporter and on Rovers supporters club since he was a Sinus at the old Craven Park. We've got Roger Pugh, who's the historian. He's on the committee. Pete Murphy played in the 60s. He's on the committee. Mike Carter, who does the shirts. Mike Carter.
Yeah.
He's on the committee. In fact, last month he did a talk on some of the shirts, how the badge had changed, because it's been a bit of a subject. what he doesn't know about Rovers shirts, it ain't worth knowing. It's unbelievable. And like things like that, he'll do another one, I would say, next year, because he's got that many shirts. It's just Rovers, isn't it? It's like you and the lads on this. It's just Rovers through and through. You might get the old black and white to say something now and again. Or, like me, I'll remember something around the black and white days, but I'm all right now. I got over that.
They've soon quietened down now, though, haven't they, Keith?
Oh yeah. We were the noisy neighbours from across the river.
Yeah, but Keith, tell us about your new book. What you've got out?
Well, what it is, I started writing, as you know, with Red and White Phoenix, which was my autobiography, and then I started doing a creative writing course with through Rovers Trust, and Dr. Brian Lavery run it. He's a well-known author and he's a lecturer in creative writing at, I think it's Leicester or Leeds University. Anyway, so I decided to write a novel, and going to these meetings every week, you had to do little exercises, and one of the exercises was write a synergy on a book. So I wrote one about my book, which was at the time 360,000 words long. Brian, a Glaswegian, said there weren't that many words in War and Peace. You're gonna have to like cut it down. So he said turn it into a trilogy. Can you do that? So I said yeah, because it's the story of a family whose ancestors came from Norway when the Great Famine was on, and they settled in Hull. The girl was the daughter of one of these Norwegian ancestors. She ran away from home. She had twins, and it's the story of her and the twins' lives. I won't go in too deep. Yeah. People might not want to buy the book if I say too much. Anyway, the first book, all the money I make or proceeds I make goes to charity. The first one went to the Red and White Phoenix, went to a charity that was involved with when my son passed away with a genetic disease. Well, they got 6,000 quid out of it. Mossy got 600 quid out of it, and Rob Burrow got 600 quid. The second one, as you know, which was Save the Last Dance for Me, all the money from that went to Mossy. Well, I only sold 250. It's still on sale, as a matter of fact, if anybody wants it. And he got 1,250 quid. So this one, all the money from this is going to Hull for Heroes, the ex-servicemen's thing that they're trying to build this village in all out there. Yeah. So this is the book. You can see it. Can you see it?
Yeah, I've got it.
And it's just you can say you don't have to have bought the first book, but if you haven't read the first book, you can still read this book because it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. But on the end of each book, there's a twist, hoping that you'll buy the next one, right? So, and this is the continual story of this. We call them the Askanes family. This is about book 2. They call it the most beautiful girl in the world. And actually, that girl on the front is the granddaughter of a friend of mine in Australia. Okay. And I'd seen her. She has a web page, and I said to her, Mackie, they call her McKinley. I said, "Where do you get the photo from?" She said, "It's me." You know, I'm talking on Facebook. I talked to her granddad and a dad and a mum, and so I said, "Can I use it as a book cover?" Like fair income, you know, they talk the Aussies like. Yeah. So I said, "Yeah, but I'll ask your mum and dad, right? Because the books are an adult book, if you like. They've got strong language and, you know, real life, not." Yeah. So anyway, said yes. Yeah, loved so. So as I say, that's Mackie. She's I think she's 16 now. But anyway, so that's the title. All the titles of my books are songs. Like the first one, Save the Last Dance for Me, was the old Drifters song. Yeah. This one, The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, was the old Charlie Rich, the Silver Fox. The third one will be called There Won't Be Any More, another Charlie Rich song. Only the name of the song is written into the book. It's something to do with the book. And I've had 160 orders for it, and I've I've taken nearly 100 quid up to now, and I only got him yesterday. So hopefully they'll get the 1,000 quid that I'm aiming for.
Yeah, and where can people get it from, Keith, if they want it?
It's funny you should ask that. But can you see that?
Yeah, we've got that.
And you can get it it's on Amazon, and you can get it on Kindle as well. Apple Books, it's on that. With a couple, well, you won't look, Kobo in Australia, Booktopia in Australia, Barnes and Noble in America. They're available at Old Fishing Museum on Ezel Road, the Queen's Head in Eden, Shakespeare in Eden, Ezel Bookshop, GE Books down the arcade, you know. I'm hoping to get it into Waterstones. I think I will. And any good bookshop, it's on order. You can get it, on a print to order. You can get it anywhere in the world. I've sold 15 or 14 of the last one in America. I've sold 50. You don't get a lot for them, to be fair, going through Amazon and all like that. They check their whack out of it, and you'll get a royalty. The charity gets more money just by buying them from me, because all I take back out of it is what the cost of the book is, what it cost me to get proofread and edited, and the rest goes to the charity. So it's just a few. I like doing it, and it's a few way making a few quid for charities. My last one, there's another one after this, as I said, called the There Won't Be Any More. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that charity yet. I might split it to smaller local charities, like Old Bullnose on Ezel Road, the fisherman's thing. I think they'll get a few quid out of it, and whatever. What I might do is people that buy them, I'll ask them what charity do they want to donate it to, and then the one with the most, say the majority, say that charity will get part of them funds. Whatever, you know, the more they buy, the more they get. It's as simple as that. And the more I can order, the cheaper they are, and the more they get. So it's just we're making a few quid for charities.
Yeah, so if anyone's watching this and they are going to rush out and go buy one, get in touch with Keith. How's the best way to get in touch with you, Keith?
Facebook, Twitter. They're the two easiest ways if they're on Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah.
Or they can text me if they want. If they don't, I'll give you my phone number. I'm not bothered. Do you want it?
Go on, read it out, Keith, and then people can get it. Can note it down, can't they?
My mobile is 07853 88 6674, or you can email me on keithpollard4@aol.com, and I'll give you more details, or you can pay for it. It's easier for me if you live in Hull. I'll deliver it free, and it's even easier if you can do a bank transfer.
And I bet you'll even put your signature on it for them, won't you?
Oh yeah, without a doubt, yeah. It's worth it. I'll charge you a penny for that, so it'll be 12 quid. If it's out of Hull, out of town, I've just posted 14 this morning around the country. One lad who's bought it, McDermott, who coached Toronto.
Oh yeah.
His brother Paul, I played at Wakefield for him when I came from Aussie. He's just bought both books actually. So I've just posted, as I say, 14 this morning around the country. Kid in Warrington, another one in Bradford, one in St Helens. John Butler used to play for Salford and went on tour. He ordered one. He's got one. He bought the last one, and he said he couldn't put it down. No, it's a good story, even though I say it myself.
Yeah, and I wonder, Keith, is there any plans for future books that might involve rugby league?
I don't know. I could. I've got another one in the pipeline, if you like, which is based on one of the characters. One of the characters in this volume, he meets during his working life. He meets a bloke. How can I say it? He meets a man who changes his life completely. Right. Yeah. So the man that's always involved, I'm writing a story based on his life in here, but it's not all in here, right? It'll be the twins will still be involved, but it's more about the bloke that he meets. And it's only fiction. I've only made it up, right? I'm not, you can be I'm a good liar, and you can put it down in writing, right? And who knows after that? I mean, rugby league we're a very close knit community, and we all know it. It's maybe now because it's more of a job. The players are accessible as it was when I played. I mean, we used to go in the supporters club and mix with the supporters, and now they're all like separated. All the wags are out, you know, and again like football, aren't they? You know, but when we played, everybody knew everybody else. Like there was more local lads play, weren't there? I mean, I had one photograph, and there was 10 local lads on the photo. It was the last game I was picked for the first team, and there was 10 local lads, 10 internationals. Not all the local lads was internationals, but in that one team, you know, and we've got to get back to that. But you know, they keep saying about breeding our own, but the rugby league. Oh, you're putting me on a pedestal now. The rugby league was killed the amateur game with this. I've talked about it before, and people don't like what I say about the academy. Leave the kids with the youth, because we're killing the youth, and that I call that the pot. Right? We're making the pot smaller because we haven't got the teams now. We've got to keep bringing them kids through. All right, bring the superstars through, like Mikey Lewis. Right, bring them through. He should have been playing. He should have been left with his youth team till he was 17 or whatever. Right, then bring him into the A team and let him serve his apprenticeship. Right, he's done it the hard way. He's been thrown in at the deep end, and that's what happens. They get thrown in the deep end, and sometimes it either kills them or makes them. And you've got to be. It's a lot easier to play with better players. I'll put it that way. Like I played alongside Holiday, Foster, and Powell. To me, was the best back three that Rovers have ever had. You can talk about your Lowies and your Cases and your Paul Rose, and they was great players. I'm not knocking them, but if you'd ever played with Bill Holiday, Frank Foster, who was a legend in his own lifetime, they even talk about Frank Foster now. People tremble nowadays when you mention his name, you know. And Harry Poole was a fantastic bloke, but you was learning off him. Harry Poole used to say to me, when I tell this to run there, run out cock, I say, I'll crack thee. That's and I remember one game Bill Holiday said, stop where you are, and I'll pick you up on the way back. And the ball went before the 6 and 5 tackle, you know, it was unlimited tackling. And the ball went down the left-hand side, down the east stand, if you like, and I stopped down the middle channel. And all I did was I ran for this gap, and as Bill Holiday come across, and I just went through. And that's how you learn how to play. That's how you know, you won't just bashing and barging. You learn to let the ball do the work, run for a gap. I mean, why do they put doors in walls? Makes it easy to go through, isn't it? You know, all these little things that you learn. Nobody runs a gap for a gap now. It's just bang, bang. It's the old Aussie way. That's how they used to play in Aussie years ago. And the odd forward that can pass the ball, bloody hell, they think it's Paul Daniels, don't they? You know, it's simple. It's a simple game. They've made a science out of a simple game, and nobody will ever tell me it's a better game now than it was. The fitter, the stronger, the faster. But a lot of them can't play. A lot of them can't play rugby league the way as the older ones know. You know what I mean? And I still say the older game was the better game, more entertaining. I mean, I'm going on you. You know, why do teams, when they start to struggle, start throwing the ball about? Don't they? All of a sudden, if they're behind and that things aren't going right, they start throwing the ball about, running for. So why don't they do that from the beginning? Why have these coaches got this? Tony Smith, I'm not saying has this sense, like, but why do these coaches have this blockage that the way the Aussies did it was right? We used to thrash them. We used to thrash the Aussies in the 70s and before because we played rugby. Then all of a sudden, it turned. There was a lot of us went to Australia, like Roger Millward, Malcolm Reilly, Phil Lowe, Alan Barewell, blokes like that went out there and taught them how to play the game properly. Like I went to Newcastle. They thought I was somewhat different. I wasn't a great player, don't get me wrong. I mean, I managed to make it Rovers first team, and I played first team football wherever I went. I was told once that I would have been picked for the Great Britain under-24s, but the Froggies couldn't raise a team that year. So me and Sean O'Brien, who used to play for Hull, there was sadly passed away. we were supposed to be going to be the two props, but I only found out in passing. Somebody was telling me one day, "Oh, do you know you nearly played for Great Britain?" Never thought, never dreamt I'd play for Great Britain, you know. But I managed to do all right. I finished up at Maitland as a legend, and that'll do me, right?
Yeah, and Keith, it's as ever, it's been an enlightening conversation, and with Christmas coming up, hopefully, you know, people who are watching this are going to think about maybe stocking fillers, and I'm sure your book would be perfect for it.
I hope so. I hope so. It is a good read, and I'm not, but you know, hope you enjoy it.
Excellent, Keith. Well, like I say, people, go rush out. Let's support one of our own. Let's go buy the book and let's raise some money for a fantastic charity who are doing fantastic things. Take care, Keith.
Thanks a lot, mate. Thanks for having me on. Enjoy the